Back in 1993, there was a novel published called The Giver. It's about a utopian society in the future where it's free of crime, poverty, and everyone has a job. When kids turn 12 years old, they get assigned a job. The main character Jonas gets selected to be a new receiver of memory. He is trained by the old receiver, or now as he goes by, The Giver. The Giver holds and transmits the memories of the past to Jonas, but Jonas discovers that his world is derived of color, emotions, and choice. In addition, he realizes that the past wasn't really good either. It had pain, suffering, and war. The story of The Giver is a perfect metaphor for how kids feel during adolescence. Since its publication, The Giver has had several loose sequels and talks for a movie went on for nearly 2 decades. Unlike The Hunger Games, where it didn't take long for that book to get made into a movie, The Giver was not an easy book to appeal to mainstream audiences. But then again, movies like Equilibrium and The Island did borrow elements from The Giver, so it could work as a movie. Last year, it was announced that The Giver had been given the go to be made into a movie. I was excited, but then I started to have my doubts. The main character Jonas in the book was roughly 12 years old, but in this movie, Jonas is a teenager. I'm sorry, but does this look like a 12-year-old to you? He looks like he should be in college. I know they want to appeal to the teen market, but would you have the same connection to the Harry Potter movies if they were teenagers in the first movie? But the worst casting news was when Taylor Swift was announced to be in the movie. My reaction was sort of like this. I really hate it when singers try to be actors, especially ones who are already famous. And it doesn't help the fact that I don't like Taylor Swift. I know some of you may love her and that's fine, but I don't. At least there was some good casting. Casting Jeff Bridges as The Giver was perfect. Also, having Meryl Streep as the chief elder was good, but kinda cliche. I think that everyone kind of flipped out when the first trailer was released. Not only did fans like myself notice things that were never in the book, but why was it in color? Why? It should have been in black and white. Luckily, it was later announced that it would be in black and white. With all these changes I've seen so far, it worries me because Hollywood is notorious for butchering up books. But there have been a few books that got proper movie adaptation. So you're probably saying, enough with the rant, just get on with the review. I saw it over the weekend, so here's my review. I've already spent a lot of time talking about all the changes they made, so I won't talk about them too much. Like I said before, I didn't like the fact that they made Jonas and his friends a lot older. Although Taylor Swift is in it, I was glad that she was barely in it. On a side note, I read online that she was terrible on set. She was so bad that she kept hounding Meryl Streep for advice, so much to the point where security told her to back off. I don't understand why they took injections instead of taking pills like in the book. Now I'd like to talk about what I did like about the movie. I liked how the movie wasn't very slow and it was pretty short. I loved how it was in black and white in the beginning. Then it gradually went to color when Jonas finally saw color. One character that got an upgrade was the Chief Elder played by Meryl Streep. Although she didn't have much of a part in the book, even the author admitted that she liked the change. But the one part that I think anyone who saw this movie can agree is that the scenes with the memories are the best. I loved how they showed so many tender and sad moments that gave me goosebumps. So basically, I really liked Jeff Bridges as The Giver, but I really didn't like some of the character changes and the annoying cutting frames effect kept coming up from time to time. I give The Giver, no pun intended, 2.5 stars out of 4. Careful, Jeff. She might want to date you and break up with you so she can write another song.